and I'm a business management and marketing major. We will talk about 3 attributes that each team member brings to the table, how they affect our major and how they affect this project. My 3 attributes are enthusiasm, being the devil's advocate, and communication. Enthusiasm, I've learned through many classes, and I brought it to this project by being excited about the product. Day in and day out, showing that I was 100% for it. Being the devil's advocate, I learned in class trying to take the opposite side of whoever was right or whoever was wrong. And then I brought it to this group by showing like the flaws in our project and trying to perfect them to have the best product for Kevin. Communication, I learned through many classes from freshman year through senior year. And I brought it to this project by communicating with Kevin and our mentor.
My name is Stefan, and I'm a music business major here. My 3 attributes that I brought to our group was being able to hurry up and wait, and I'll explain what that is in a minute, being the mediator or the glue in our group, and also being able to find my own solutions to the problems that I face. So a little explaining about the hurry up and wait. That's the music business kid's motto, if you don't know. It's also about, like, coincidentally, it's also the Army's motto. That tells you anything about what it's like to be a music business kid. But our professor, Danara Moore, has taught us that in a moment's notice, we need to be ready to plan an event, handle a task, and just be prepared, composed, and get it done. The second strength I brought was being a mediator or a glue. When tensions were high amongst us, because we're all running on little sleep, and we wanted this to be done, and someone wanted that to be done, I was just there to keep us all calm and collected, and also make sure that everyone is heard. Because when you're doing a project like ours, everyone has an idea, and they all want to be heard and make sure they're valued. So I was standing there making sure that we all knew that our opinions are valuable, and we would all listen to them. My last one is being able to find solutions on my own. Again, my professor, Danara, teaches all of us students that we have the abilities to use resources around us to answer our own problems or questions others might have. So with the skills that she's given us through that, we've been able to use it in the project for sending emails to someone that we need to contact or finding their addresses to let people know, like, thank you for helping us throughout our project.
My name is Nick Gundy. I'm a commercial music major, and the 3 attributes that I bring, or in this case, the actual strengths and strengths finder test, is concept, input, and adaptability. So for concept, so it's like in my creative side in the living industry, I'm always coming up with some new ideas, or I would have a vision I had, and I would find any resource or material that I have in my possession to find out how to bring those things to life. And that's how I put that in our The second is input, which is like learning how to give suggestions and like opinions on certain parts during the process that would help us move forward and set new goals. And for adaptability, I'm always working and performing alongside different types of groups. So not all of them I might not like, but like at least I get the job done. And being set in this new environment where I still get to be creative, trying to find some new way to bring this product to life, and learning how to cooperate alongside people outside of my field. Teaches me how to give proper contributions.
My name is Stefan Woods. I'm also a music business major. I bring innovation, realistic views, and management to our group. In innovation, we use in our music business department for solving problems, for looking for new ways to market events, and to reach out to new crowds. This came to play in our project when we were finding new ideas to solve our problem. My realistic views, which some may call pessimism, but I was able to look at and see how things practically fit into our situation. This helped when developing ideas for our product as well. For my management attribute, my experience with the music business department, we sometimes have to manage our peers and those we work with to get things done. I worked to check in on each one of our members to see that their work was also getting done, and to also see if there was any way that we could share the load. We are Timmerlieden Boer Christus.
Well, what I'm really interested in doing experience first in the first place. It was like we are an experience first group. Well, I would say one of the main reasons we chose to try experience first is that we were all interested in it, because we didn't want the traditional hassle of scrambling super ahead of time, trying to find people that we think would fit for our group to work with over the semester, and find out it might not actually work out as planned. So in this case, we were randomly selected together to find a problem or to find a way to create something that will help benefit a business or a small company. With that, we also wanted the opportunity to work alongside an actual business, and working alongside Kevin Kauffman, SimplyAmish, has really been a pleasure. And SimplyAmish is from Arcola, Illinois, and that's actually the same city where my family actually got some furniture and designed in my house. Well, is it from SimplyAmish? I have no idea.
So as Nick said, we are an experience first group. And how we differ from traditional core 401 groups is, like Nick said, that we were hand selected. Usually students come together and they form a 6 to 8-person group, and they find a problem in the community, and sometimes they go outside of the community and they find a problem and then a solution to fix it. Whereas with Experience First, we had to apply, interview, and then our mentors around us selected who thought would be a great fit for what group. And it's just been, in my words, it's just been an amazing experience to be put into a group, because I know that's something, my comfort zone, I'd rather pick my group than just be put into it. But so we help businesses, so like Kevin, who will be introduced to soon, he had a problem that his business wanted to address, or an issue that his business wanted to do, and so we came in and helped him figure out that and developed our product.
The problem that SimplyAmish gave us was to design a piece of furniture that appealed to a high-end market as well as a small space living trend. SimplyAmish needed a product that would not only be a good fit for their current customers, which are typically those looking for high-end furniture, but also branch out and test the waters in a new market. The challenge lied in tying these two together by not only reaching these in separate markets, but finding the meeting place where they overlap.
Kevin Kauffman is the CEO of SimplyAmish. He was born and raised Amish, but decided to remove himself from that lifestyle in order to open up his furniture company where he can give back to the Amish community. He hires a lot of Amish community members as well as family members in order to ensure the continuation of the Amish community. Kevin believes in giving back to the community in order to help his business thrive. We will now talk about the tradition piece of the Wesleyan quadrilateral. We found 2 verses in Proverbs that connect tradition to our project. Our first verse is Proverbs 13:11.
Wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, but he that gathereth by labor shall increase.
Kevin worked hard to reach to this point in his life, and went through hardships like leaving the Amish community and staying connected. Our group's wealth did not come into monetary value, but instead we received the knowledge of working as a team and experiencing new styles and living situations through the Amish community. The next verse comes as well from Proverbs, and that verse is Proverbs 16:8.
Better is a little with righteousness than great income with injustice.
Kevin has followed this scripture by growing his company while supporting the Amish community, which in return allows the Amish community to thrive in ways they can still remain a community. The team saw righteousness through this process by creating a product that will help SimplyAmish create more sales, which in turn will help the Amish community by creating more work.
As I previously mentioned, our group name we decided upon was Timmerlieden Boer Christus. Along the traditional lines of Amish, we decided to choose a group name that reflected their culture. Timmerlieden Boer Christus roughly translates from Dutch to Carpenters for Christ. We chose this rough Dutch translation to tie into the culture, as typical Amish communities speak English, German, and Dutch. This brings us to the culture of the Amish as a reason for giving our new group this name. As we explore deeper into the Wesleyan quadrilateral, we find the reason tied of SimplyAmish. Our first verse for the reason section comes from Acts 20:35.
Everything I did, I showed you that by this kind of hard work, you must help the weak. Remember the words the Lord Jesus himself said. It is more blessed to give than to receive.
SimplyAmish strives to build and strengthen their connection with the community by the jobs that they provide. The hard work that is put into their product comes from a great number of home workshops that are housed by members of the community. When a product is launched, it gives one more reason for craftsmen to continue their work for a company as great as SimplyAmish and be associated associated with such a prestigious name. Our second verse comes from Hebrews 13:18.
Pray for us, for we trust that we have a good conscience, and in all things willing to live honestly.
Simply Amish is honest in their work. They do not cheat anyone in their processes, and work is distributed among workshops to get their products finished. While many companies may make products cheaper, also made to a cheaper quality, they usually offer add-ons. These add-ons may include motion-detected lights, charging sources, or non-sliding cabinet hinges. This is where companies get you with their seemingly cheap product that you then end up spending a lot more money when you add the anticipated values of these extra add-ons. With Simply Amish, most of these typical add-ons are already built into their product. So when you want to purchase a nightstand from Simply Amish with a floor light or a charging source in the drawer, you won't have to worry about adding this cost on. It's already included into the price. This is an honest approach to their high-end pricing to compete in the furniture industry. We find that this honest reasoning to be an example of why working alongside Kevin and Simply Amish has been an incredible and inspiring experience as to how we can take our faith-based values into the business.
Now we'll walk you through the stages of the project. Our first stage is research. We begin researching the small house movement by brainstorming ideas. We search Google for different pictures and ideas that struck us as interesting. There's actually 2 ideas here that we found at first, and we thought they were pretty cool, but not very plausible with what we were trying to do. So in searching, many countries such as China and Germany are already advanced in this movement, which gave us an advantage to search for pieces. Through this process, we would come out with ideas to pitch to Kevin, and he would pick the best one out of them. In order to get hands-on ideas by seeing and being able to touch pieces, we went to IKEA.
This is a video of one of our first experiences as a group outing, just to let you guys.
And it was Nick recreating the elf scene.
So as we took this chance to go to IKEA to spend some time bonding together as a group, we also went for our research stage. As we researched the small end spaces, we thought that this trip to IKEA in St. Louis would give us a good visual of how they've worked with these small space living and high-end furniture. We began to wander through the maze of the store, observing how the furniture could be used for different purposes. We noticed that most of their furniture, although it's built small, does not have many purposes other than the one it's built for. This did give us a visual and size concept to see how we could then use that space and change it. So as we walked past a dresser that stood about this high, I asked my group members, how could we change this? How can we make this different and give it a different purpose? As people use this space typically for a dresser or for different things, we wanted to give it different functions. So from there, we started to brainstorm, and that would then become the main focus of our project in our research stage, that we would take those, put them into drawings, and then that would push us through for the rest of our semester for our product development.
So after we ventured to IKEA, the 4 of us, our first group meeting was us just sitting around the table drawing, as you can see behind us. Although, as you can see, that some of them, like, they're all very similar, and what we pictured, there are also a few modifications. In particular, one of mine, I thought it'd be cool to have a design on the back with a mirror, because I was really looking in mirrors. And also how we decided we wanted things to move. You can see like the difference between what we all decided to do. This was also our first chance that we all really were able to sit down and work together. And then I believe in that moment it's when we realized, what the heck are we doing? None of us are really artists. We can draw, as you can see, but none of us are really that artistic. And a lot of us none of us actually have had a background in designing furniture. So trying to find realistic measures for it was really hard for us. But as you can see, we didn't let that stop us. And so we put on our many thinking caps and we set up shop in the school's art building maze.
Yeah, the downfall is I'm the only one wearing a hat right now. So like Michelle said, after IKEA, we decided to have the majority of our meetings at Maves Art Center, which is basically where we did the sketching, and we put the prototype box together. All all those kind of things. Mainly just go hands-on with bringing them up to life. And that's like one of the biggest things I know is my biggest confusion that I know I like to do. I'm not more of talk, I'm just more of, well, show me what to do. I want to get to it. And so it took a lot of time putting together the prototype together. It took like a few trial and errors, remeasuring, basically cutting off the block, cutting off sections of the cardboard pieces that we needed, so it actually gets to be practical. In late February, Kevin offered us a chance to visit up at Arkansas. So all of us and Jake went to his main factory, where he showed us how they designed, constructed, cooked the paint, dry, and deliver all of their merchandise. And a fun fact, they actually cover all their stuff with blankets when they transport them onto their trucks. So unlike regular wrappings and bubble wrap, this helps keep them moist, and like there's actually way more better protection since like blankets are more thicker anyway. And it was also the first trip where we actually begun the brainstorming idea together. So this was just like our second stage. Our first stage was when, after we got done seeing the whole majority of the factory, we went down to his conference room and we started thinking of the idea that we would later take on the rest of the semester. And I was actually really surprised that like we were able to come up with something so quick. And it's really surprising. So like, what I've learned from any inventions, it's the smallest idea that can definitely make a big difference. And even Kevin was on board with it super quick. So after assembling the mock, about over a month later, we went back. The four of us went back to Kevin to show us the mock. He's like, okay, I can never do this. This is fun, right? And then it's like we're just talking about a few more modifications we can do it, and just like make a few more accurate and more plausible measurements, and we handed the rest off to him. And it was that same trip where we got to actually finally visit the smaller local shops, which we'll talk about later, where we got to see actual Amish men and women assemble and put together the wood that they have.
So as Nick mentioned, we developed the stage of our mock. After we'd had this idea, our advisor, Jake Admonson, took it upon himself to order a ton of cardboard. And these cardboard sheets were taller than me and really wide. This would be what we would build our mock with. After a lot of painter's tape, a lot of cardboard, a few size adjustments, and a bag of donuts later, we had, well, a box. That's what it was. This box gave us a good visual for our space that would be used to then start into the next processes of what really is our furniture that we're building, what else needs to be added to it. So our next step was to build more boxes, smaller boxes that then fit inside this outer shell. And these smaller boxes were to visualize the space that would be inside for different cabinets, drawer space, and how we could change it. With our product, we also had moving parts that, to visualize that, nothing was moving on our cardboard, so we had students move things, hold things out, and we would stand back as we would kind of look at it. Now, did everything go easily? No. Did we always agree on everything? No. Did our box get cut up by another class that shared the space?
Yes.
Yes, but only once. We were able to move past that, and we had our basic concept of our box. Since we were not furniture designers and we just had these rough estimates, we decided that we would then take this up to Kevin back at SimplyAmish, and he would be able to better critique our the concepts that we had, as well as the size, dimensions of everything once we took it up to Arcola.
Now, as you can see in that picture, our mock was pretty big. So getting it to Arcola was a different story. We had one of the explorers that was provided by the school, and luckily our cardboard was able to be folded down a bit. So we squeezed it in there, and then we headed to Arcola. We took the mock to Kevin and talked over the details with him. As said before, the four of us are by no means designers or artists. So talking with Kevin through the process of how our mock moved and the pieces that where we would put them when they needed to be hidden was really helpful to us because it gave us more of a better understanding of how to design the furniture. And we took it up to him and we talked through it, and then we decided what could be changed, what could be made different, and then after that we left the box with him, and through this time it has been really great because we've been able to talk with him and build a relationship with him. And most of our time was spent at my new now favorite restaurant that Nick is going to tell you about, Yoder's.
Boy, Yoder's Kitchen, oh my God, really good stuff. It's basically like Christmas dinner lunch, Christmas lunch every day. Reminds me of when the whole Gundy family comes together, puts together exactly all that type of food. Go to it. It's at Arthur, Illinois. I think it's about an hour and 30 minutes there. And that's pretty much it. Wait. So like, actually, serious note, like Michelle said, we spend most of the time none of our time with Kevin at Yoder's Kitchen on his street. Thank you again. This was our chance to put outside of the work, taking a break from getting the mindset we're doing this for school, and just like to sit down with the stranger and now a friend rather than a CEO. And it was definitely like I said before, it was these times that we were able to build a sense of trust in this relationship. And yes, some of the snacks here provided today are from Yoder's Kitchen.
So as for any group project, nothing goes perfectly. If you've been in a group project and it went smoothly, please tell me your secret so I can use it in the future. We had some bumps along the way that we had to work out. And when you get into start in product design, you have a concept of what you want to design in your head. And how you envision that, you then have to translate to the rest of your group, and Kevin and Jake, as to what that product looks like to you. This can be challenging when you have to explain every little detail and then it still maybe isn't exactly what you think. The prime example of this can be found from day one at team assignment day at the Core 401 retreat. Kevin was there and he gave his pitch for Simply Amish, what the problem would be presented as, and kind of showed us some of the furniture. He talked about one of the transforming pieces of furniture as a sofa table. This sofa table, then we were talking about in our meeting as, this product. This is what we were imagined. A sofa that converted into a table. We tried to call Kevin, we called Kevin up, and we tried to find this on his website to see where this was at, and it wasn't this at all, yet it was the Avalon sofa table that they have. It's a sofa table because it sits behind your sofa that you can use for space, that you can put things on, flowers, lamps, different things, and then when you need extra dining space, you can pull it out, and they have this butterfly leaf, so it transforms into a larger dining space. Now, product design was not our only issue in communication or the problem we came across. We also tried to implement the use of Slack, which is a cloud-based collaboration tool, so where we could communicate on all levels. We found that group text message between the students worked better, that we responded more appropriately and in timely fashion to that. But while we had numbers for our group message and that worked really well, it took us a few weeks to iron out some communication between the other levels, between our advisor and Kevin. After we kind of went through to iron some of those tasks out, we found that email updates between Kevin and our group every week would be best for our group meetings, not only for us to give him updates, but for him to give us feedback on how we were doing and what we could do and change things. So after we figured all that out, those were our main problems that we had for our project.
All right, so this adds another layer to the Wesleyan quadrilateral that we've been using. And this one is experience. So throughout this project, we have been able to step outside our comfort zone and dive into new experiences. Designing furniture, especially multifunctional furniture, was really hard work for us, but I believe it made us stronger as not only individuals, but as a group. By working on this project, we have received hands-on experience with the CEO and his business, and being able to help that out. Also, through this experience, we have been able to gain knowledge on the Amish. We've accomplished this through our talks with Kevin and our own research. I know personally, coming into this project, I had no idea. I knew about Amish, but I only knew what I saw on like Amish Mafia or Breaking Amish. And that's reality TV, so I think we can all agree that that would be like pretty skewed and distorted. But it was just really cool being able to research and find out more. I think one of my favorite things is when Stefan told us earlier that they speak 3 languages. I have a hard enough time. I don't know how I passed Spanish in high school. It was Spanish 4. So like being able to speak 3, I think is pretty amazing. And this whole experience.
Definitely on a side note, my aunt is actually married to a Yoder. So Leslie Quadrado's scripture for first reading is 1 Timothy 4:14 to 15.
Do not neglect the gifts you have, which was given to you by prophecy when the council of elders laid their hands on you. Practice these things, immerse yourself in them, so that all may see your progress.
So in Timothy, Paul writes these letters to Timothy, and this small section in chapter 4 is about the small parts, talking about the responsibilities Paul has given to Timothy, and the overall letter is about guiding the truth, so they put in the church. And it's also a good reminder for us not to take for granted the talents that we have, because whether you figured it out or have yet to discover it, there is a purpose for it, and it does take a while to find it. The second reading comes from Colossians 3:23-24.
Whatever you do, work heartily, as for the Lord and not for men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the inheritance as your reward. You're receiving the Lord Christ.
And I told us about this. It also relates to one scripture in second Corinthians. Out with the old, in with the new, begins new life. So Paul also gives these instructions in Colossians for people to learn how to live out this new life, putting on a new self with a new knowledge and the image of the Creator. And this particular section comes from the instructions he has, or the guidelines he has for a common Christian household. And like, I haven't seen much experience of the Amish community, but like, I knew what their values are. And coming from a Mennonite family itself, we do have ties to the Amish community, and knowing the simplicity and keeping family values is what keeps them going today. And this also means for me, this means that the gifts you have, God has given you, can take you to multiple directions you wouldn't expect them to take you. And I could say, safe to say, none of us really expected this whole experience to lead us to where we are today. And truly, our talents to create will lead to this moment, and it was for the better. And also know that we aren't going to get a share of the profit anyway. But like selfishly serving Kevin, that's really a high reward that I'm grateful for. And I'll always cherish these moments I have with you.
So next we will talk about our assumptions, our pre-assumptions that came into the group, and then how they debunked. So I'll start off. Some of the assumptions I had coming into the group is this group is very different in characteristics. All the people in this group have very different aspects of how to do a project, and it was kind of difficult in that position because I've never worked with music business majors or art majors or design or anybody in that realm outside of my business classes. So it was kind of interesting to see how the project got evaluated and how we progressed through it. Also, one other thing that I saw was as soon as I heard Amish, all the preconceptions of Amish that I had came into play, that this was going to be a boringish project and that we weren't going to get much done, and so just because of the fact that we had nothing to do with it. But in contrary, everything was wrong that I thought before this project, and I learned a lot from the Amish community, and I learned how to work well with others through this project.
Coming into this, I was so excited to meet my group and to be an inventor, because how cool is that? Even if it wouldn't be put anywhere, just to create a project, I thought that was so cool. I was also really dreading taking Core 401. It made it a little better that it was experience first, but I've had a lot of friends that have been in Core 401 mention how they would stay up all night, all the hours in a night, just to like finish up their project near the end. And if you know me, I value sleep, especially this semester because I have an 8:30 a.m. class. And that's hard enough to get to when I have had like 8 or 9 hours of sleep anyways. So coming in, I was excited, but I was really nervous and like, okay, like, guess we have to do this. But when we were introduced to the project and being able to go out and visit Kevin's, it really gave me a lot of motivation and like, it encouraged me to like just keep pushing forward that it's going to be great. And I think I can speak for all of us that it has been great just to be in this group.
And I'm pretty sure you all have mixed opinions and experiences about this course. I've had my fair share of them. And like for every common day of morning presentation I've gone to, either most of the one has enjoyed it or the one that hasn't. Majority I've been to has been with most of the groups I've been to and talked to they've had a good time. Well, but still, I did feel a bit hesitant coming into or starting the course. I didn't talk about it with my dad way ahead of time, but I figured he would say something like, well, Nick, regardless of what others' experiences are, it's all about how you make the most of it and how you choose to do that. So basically, that's the best attitude. So I stuck with the positive and made sure I just enjoyed it. And I knew experience first and gave me that plus that I wanted to find the enjoyment in it and to be really surprised. Because I don't like all I wanted. Be surprised, figure out who I'm gonna work with, who we're gonna work for, and learn how to be inventive and creative together. So being creative, like I said a long time ago, being creative in another field, got to make something completely brand new has been the biggest highlight of my semester.
The assumptions I had coming into the semester were also typical Core 401 assumptions. You hear about people loathing taking this course and they push it off to their last semester, and they can't wait till their Core 4.0 done. So for that, yes, it did take long hours, long days, weeks, and I mean, it was a semester worth, so it was long and hard work. But seeing as how none of us designed furniture prior experience, and we are about to unveil you this product that we created throughout this semester, we were nervous that we wouldn't have anything. I didn't think we would have a product. I thought we would have a long list of ideas that got shot down one by one throughout the semester. And then maybe today that we were presenting 3 of the good ones that would possibly go into production. But that was debunked as we have this product that will be launched at a convention with Kevin here in the next month or so that will then go into the market. So I assumed that we would be doing a lot of busy work, finding lists, and not so much of this design. I didn't think we would have such a great time working together and